So that gate opened up, right? And if you haven't seen this, go back to the next two videos. All this is going to make sense. So that gate opened up, right? And I didn't move my legs. I just glided forward. And all I could smell was like rotten egg. I could smell in this trip. I smelled rotten egg. I seen ash floating through the air. And the entire environment was just, it looked like lava and fire. And brimstone, even. There was brimstone everywhere. There were screams. I heard the most horrific screams and a traumatic laugh. And it felt like an eternity. And when I came back, the EMT looked at me and said, "Are you okay? I had to give you something to reverse a trip that you were having." I think he gave me Narcan or something. And I told him, I was like, "I just want to go to the hospital. I want to go to the hospital and figure out what's going on with my back, and I want out of this ambulance." We got to the hospital, and the nurses found out what happened. They were so mad at the EMTs. They kicked him out of the hospital, told him to go back to the station they came from. They called that station, told them what happened. I don't know what happened from there. All I know is nurses came in, like 6 nurses, 7 nurses, and they were checking vitals, blood pressure, all that stuff. They were checking ox count, blood samples. I couldn't. I was so locked up. I couldn't even move my neck, and I seen one of the nurses was the last nurse to stay there. I think she was the head nurse. I seen her cross. I said, "Are you Christian?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm a Norse pagan and I got questions." She said, "Ask." I said, "Is he real? Is he really real? Don't lie to me." She said, "Yes." I said, "I think this experience I had was an act of him." And she goes, "It probably was. What message do you think he was trying to tell you?" And I paused and I thought about it and it clicked. Turn back to me or this is what will happen. I don't want this to happen to you, but you must turn back to me or it's going to happen. I went before the cross and got baptized when I never thought I'd go back to a church again. I became a Protestant, which led me to the path of a modern day Puritan. The message I'm trying to get to you is I sought so much satisfaction as a pagan and never received it, but as a Christian I found satisfaction in God.